that there's always a higher perspective. So when you look at situations and they feel negative and painful, there's always a higher perspective that one can experience and see. And so therefore our attachments are what we choose. Who we are, who we say we are, and who we say our God are is still just a projection of self. So however you see yourself, either however limited or however expansive, that's going to be what you say your God is, because you are an expression of your God. Your God, your expression of the Creator, and the Creator is in all things. You can't, and they even say that the devil is sent to do God's work, to do God's bidding. There are books that say that. So then where again are we getting the perception that the dark is separate from the light? It's not. It's all working together. It's all working together. And that is the harmonies of life. And if we can all understand the harmonies of life, we have balance. This is what we call Islamism, knowing yourself. So the better you know yourself, the better you know your Creator. Because we are one. We are one. We term each other. We create separation when we're really still just the same over and over again. Even if one group of people is maybe a little bit more expressed one way than the other, we're still all representations of the Creator. We're still all representations of the Creator. So again, see yourself in others is all you ever see. You can only draw your reflection and your beliefs. So therefore, anytime you see pain, you're seeing your own pain. If you internalize it as pain, if you internalize it as suffering, you're seeing the perspective of suffering. Your filter includes suffering. So then are you seeing yourself? Are you really seeing yourself? Because the only time that there is really suffering is when you're operating on a perspective that allows you to be less than. Damn. Which means you can't be in your highest self. Because if you're in your highest self, then you see the harmonies and the virtues of life. And in the harmonies, there's understanding, there's understanding, and there's empathy. There's being empathic. So you can feel into it. You can feel what they feel. Yes, you can see where someone may say that's an injustice. Yes, you can have these experiences. But the reality is, if it's in harmony, whether you can see the details of that or not, or if you can see the many dimensions of that detail, which there are many dimensions in every transaction we have energetically with each other, then when you can see from harmony, those things don't hold the same weight, and you do not have an attachment to others' suffering, because when you see their suffering, you understand that's their choice. You understand even if they don't know that's their choice, that's their choice. You understand that they are the God of the soul, of the earth plane, the creator of their earth plane experience. And so how can you feel but so much compassion when they are a manifestation of their own works? Then we say God will never put on us more than we can bear. But guess what? You're the God of your universe. Because you are one with Allah, and everything is a reflection of you. Everything is a reflection of you. So if you see something wrong, you're seeing that something is wrong with yourself. And oh my God, I just saw this in myself the other night. And Spirit was telling me that there doesn't have to be anything wrong with you. There doesn't have to be anything wrong with you. You don't have to have something wrong with you. You don't have to have anything to fix. And this is not the first time the Spirit has relayed this message to me, but it just hit different the other night. Because what my problem was that I could not see my light. I couldn't see my light all the way. And so Spirit, when I asked to understand what it is to see myself in my highest self, from my highest perspective, to live from my highest perspective, what does that mean? Then they told me it was freedom, but not in the way that I think that freedom is. And then it started reflecting to me people who were representing my beauty inside and out. People who were representing my prosperity energetically. People coming up and looking at me just to tell me how beautiful I was. And the way they looked at me, I knew that it couldn't just be physical, because they stopped and they looked into me. And I know that expression, that movement, that gesture, because that is what I do to people. I look into them. And not intending to be nosy or to look at their flaws or to look and see what's going on with them, but just to acknowledge, I see the God in you. I see you. And so therefore, when I look into someone, I look to touch them with my heart. I look at them in love. I look to see the love. I look to see my reflection. And if I think of myself in a way, how can I pull out anything else from you but my reflection? And if my reflection offends someone, that's because they offend themselves. They are offended by their life. They know that people have rejected their life. They know that people have hated on their life. But when you understand that someone only can hate on your life because they hate themselves, they have hate in their heart, then still, how is that me? How does that touch me? If it doesn't touch me, then I get to be your mirror. And I get to show you yourself. I'm only showing you yourself. And maybe that was a reflection of my past. And so I understand what I'm looking at. I understand it. And so then as I understand it, I can only then send you love because I've been in your seat. I have been in your seat. And I will love you to life. I will love you to life. So therefore, how am I finding offense? How do my haters hurt me? My haters give me an opportunity to send out more freaking love. And that's what I said I was about. And I said that was my essence. You know what I'm saying? Because if it is, and if that's what I believe, and that's what I internalize, and that's what I live, and that's how I breathe, and how I live, then how can I give you anything but love and understanding? I understand. I understand. And the reason that one may feel this way is because they feel unloved. They feel unloved. So how can they embrace the essence of their reflection if they do not understand themselves? They can't. They can't. And you know, when I wasn't walking this way, and before I learned these ways and am learning these ways, I did have spite for those who were my reflection, and their light was so great. Did it low-key hurt me to see that I was not by their side? Because I knew that's where I should be. But instead of me seeing that, I wanted to find things about them to bring them down in my mind, to justify my feelings of lack. I wanted to justify my feelings of lack. So I looked at them and I tried to pick them apart because it made me feel like maybe somehow we're closer than I want to believe, because you can't be doing that good and I'm over here doing all this suffering. And I filtered my life through pain, so I had to find pain in everyone. Even if there was nothing about them that gave me a reason to, I had to look at them and say, I see pain, I see lack. But there is beauty in all things, because Allah is in all things. I see the beauty in everything because I live in the harmony, the higher self. If I'm living from the higher self, where is it that I can find lack when I understand everything is abundance? We have an abundance of love. People just choose not to live that way, not to acknowledge it, not to be that. And we see the love is just this mushy thing. And some people are like, well, I can't even have that. My mother didn't give me that. And so how can anyone else? How can I give me love if my own creator didn't love me? If my own creator didn't love me, how can I give love to anyone? And so you live through this lens of lack. You think abundance is far away, or it's circumstantial, or someone could come and take it. someone can come and take it, because when your mother didn't show you love, you felt like it took away your love. And that love was the most valuable thing to you as a child, and now you feel like you didn't have it. You feel like you didn't have it, and somebody took it from you because your mother couldn't love you or your father couldn't love you. And so now you reflect that. You see that. You gather it all the time. You have to. It's like you have to perpetuate it to keep it alive. And that's why we hold on to our stories so tight, and that's why we make them our breath, our daily bread. We feed ourselves lack. I had no intention of saying all of this. This is all just coming from spirit. I was really just recording this to take down an idea for a song. But this all came out, so I'm going to share this with the people. And I'm just feeling honored to be able to know these things, because I didn't. I'm about to be 40 this year. I'm just learning this. It will be a blessing for my kids to grow up with this. It's a blessing to be able to teach someone these things, because I lived from lack my whole life. I lived from an unloved mother perspective my whole life. That's all I knew. My daddy wasn't around long enough for me to remember him. He died. I didn't have no one to love me. And until I learned that I had to love me the way I say I want to be loved, that was years in the making. So now I can teach from the place of having gotten some love under my belt, some love in my life, some higher perspectives on these harmonies of life. Like, that is where this is coming from. And I'm not saying my story is everybody else's story, but I do know that there are many who feel this, because you have to understand the woman in this life, in this past, the way it's been, not where we're going, because we're changing this. But in the past, where it's come from is generations of unloved women, generations of unloved fathers, generations of untaught families. And so from that perspective, you have to understand that your mother couldn't have been something she wasn't. She couldn't have been what she wasn't. She didn't know she was. In her story, she wasn't. So she could not have manifested I am love. She could not have manifested I am wisdom. She could not have manifested I am truth if she didn't know truth. And though a lot of us stay prayed up as mothers, trying to do better, and we're just trying and we never believe, then we're not doing nothing but staying in the same damn place. You don't know how to believe. You don't know how to love. Ask yourself. Ask the Creator. How do I love? How am I loved? Show me. How do I look from your perspective? Show me. Show me. So please, so that I can understand myself, so that I can learn to see myself as my truth, my higher self, not these stories that I overlaid, and putting my mask on every day. Let's see what's under that. Show me my truth. Because we think this is who I am, and then we get to the point where we start to say, well, hold up, maybe that's not who I am. Maybe I just told myself this so long, I don't even know what the truth is no more. And when we get to the point where we own up to those realities, those types of realities, then we allow ourselves to be open to something greater. We create space for something new. And sometimes there's a lot of emptying before we get there. But if we could just try to understand love itself and what is it really? Like, what is all of what it is? Because we put a lot of labels on what love is. But when you try to ask yourself, your Creator, what is love? Like, what is it really? Besides this idea of mushiness, what is it? Then you can come to understand these principles better. And that is why in the Islamism, in the Moorish tradition, it does teach that love is the highest principle. There's nothing higher than that. And love is dark, it's light, it's the Creator's highest expression. So it's our highest expression because we are those creators. Shay. So it's to understand yourself. And if we understood that is where we needed to start from, if we started to learn from there instead of from our shadows, I feel that could be the quickest unfoldment of your higher self, because that is when you truly are learning yourself. And so when we learn ourselves, we learn these layers. We start to see our layers. We start to see the mask, the fogginess, the veil. We see the veil. We decode the veil. We take down those stories that don't help us. Because at that point, you realize something ain't quite, where you would like for it to be. So then you start to explore, like, what is this veil? What is this facade? Like, who am I really? And as you explore yourself, and your universe shows you, because your universe will minister to you like nobody else can. If you just pay attention to the happenings, and you pay attention to those small signs and those little voices, then you will start to see a whole new life that will seem magical many times. And so as that happens, if you can just start to look towards love and desire to experience love, it will show you what you thought love was. And then it will show you who or what love really is. Like I'm saying love like it's an entity, but it is. It's us. It's the universe. It's the earth. I'm hearing it's the earth. It's us. Like that's who we are. And so this is so interesting. Wow. Okay, so everything is love. Like everything. Because it is the energy, the essence, the spirit that we call life, the air, it's this earth, it's these cars, everything. The energy period. We can reference that as love. We can reference it as spirit. We can reference it as, people call it source, energy. We call it several different things. The all. Like I've heard so many names over the years. But whatever you want to call it, it is still the truth that it is the Creator. It's like everything is the embodiment of the Creator. So I'm just gonna bring this to a conclusion. I can feel this download is completing. So look into your heart. Your heart. Look into your heart. That is where you meet your true self, your Creator, the Creator, you as the Creator, and all of that goodness. So I direct you there. And I hope that, you all got something from this. I hope that it stirs conversation, if not on this actual video, it stirs conversations within your soul and within the minds of those around you.